Mr Speaker.
I call Stuart Nash.
Thank you much, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, it's with a sense of irony that I note the member stood up and criticised the New Zealand First member for an excellent speech she gave because she read a prepared statement but spoke for 10 minutes, and I think was a very enlightening speech when the member himself stands up, says absolutely nothing and sits down after 3 minutes. There's something. Well, was it 3 or was it 2.5? There's a word beginning with H that we're not allowed to use in this House, but I think everyone knows what it is. Mr Speaker, there is absolutely no doubt that making it easier for businesses to deal with government departments, government agencies, etc., is a very admirable outcome. It's a very admirable outcome, and if we can achieve that, it would be fantastic. But one thing I would say, Mr Speaker, is simply by saying it will happen does not mean it will happen. Simply by putting a piece of flawed legislation in doesn't mean it will happen. The thing about this government that I'm seeing increasingly more is that they do not walk the walk. They talk the talk. They come in here and say, we're business friendly. We want to cut red tape. We want to make things easier for businesses to get on with government. We want to make the interaction easier.
But GST on the tangibles.
But, Mr Speaker, it's just not happening. We have a bill here. We had a bill that was supported by every political party. But there was a problem in that bill. And the problem in that bill was companies were required to do something, but government departments weren't. And when that happens, then that trust that needs to be built up between business and government just will not happen. But Ria Bond and Dr. David Clark, put forward a suggestion, a very helpful suggestion that said, hey, you know what, we understand what this bill is trying to achieve. We understand the necessity, actually, of making it easier for businesses to deal with government, because in this day and age, things move at such a pace that if the information flow is sort of in real time, then I believe it will make it easier. And the tax department is one. I mean, the tax department is spending $1.3 billion on something called business transformation. It is a system that is going to make it, I hope and I believe, a lot easier for taxpayers to fill in tax returns and interact with the IRD. It is what we need in the 21st century. But, Mr Speaker, if a bill like this is put in place, but there is no time frame or there is no requirement for government agencies to actually implement this, then why would business do it? Why would business say, OK, I can see a benefit here, but government can't see a benefit? It has got to be a two-way process. And one of the absolute privileges of being in this House is passing legislation that can make things easier for everyone. And this bill could have done this. It could have done it. It is a real missed opportunity, and it is such a shame. Because in my experience, let's say there are 3 variables that businesses like to operate with, and whether it's a supplier, whether it's in the private sector, whether it's in the government sector, whether it's domestically or whether it's overseas. One is they've got to build up trust. And that is the supplier or the customer or the client has got to do what they say they're going to do. The second thing is integrity. And this comes down to the honesty of process. Again, it comes down to integrity I suppose, or trust is a subset of integrity, but it means slightly different things. It's slightly more than I say what I'm going to do. It is, you can trust my people, you can trust the processes, I'm a good taxpayer, I do what I'm going to do, but also I get things done and let's work together in a constructive way. And the third one is transparency. Now, Mr Speaker, there is no point in introducing a bill like this and taking up the time of the House. I hope we're not boring you, Mr Barclay. I see you yawning in the back there. But as a young pup, you could actually learn some stuff about this, because I would suggest when that member goes and talks to the businesses in his electorate, because he can't talk to them out of experience because he has none, but if he goes and talks to his businesses and you actually ask businessmen and women what do they want from government, as opposed to saying, we know what you want, how about you ask them and say, what would you like? And I'll tell you what those businesses would like, because I've worked in a number of businesses, large and small. They will say, let's have a two-way relationship. This is what businesses actually want. They actually do want to interact with government. Believe it or not, they want their tax to be easy. They want red tape cut. They don't want to be sitting at the dining room table at 10:30 at night angsting over GST. And if we can make it easier, and we have the potential to do this, if we can make it easier for businesses, then it will deliver the sort of $60 million worth of savings or reduction in compliance costs. But when we put out this sort of bill, which says, businesses, you've got to do this, but there's no time frame for the government to do it, then all businesses do is go, this is just another number, this is just another piece of compliance, this is just something else the government is throwing at me. So instead of having the desired effect of reducing compliance, what it actually does is it increases compliance. Instead of having the effect of saying, wow, the government's come out with something that I get, this is 21st century engagement. All it does is they say, oh, goodness me, more information the government's going to collect about my business, more information I'm going to have to duplicate. So it actually has the opposite effect of what the intention is. And that is a real shame. It's a real shame, because this is the second bill I've spoken on, the third bill I've spoken on tonight, where the government had the opportunity to actually get it right. And 3 out of 3, they've missed it. And I'll tell you why I think this is the case.
Why?
I think after 8 years, they've sort of lost touch. They've become arrogant. They've lost touch with what middle New Zealand wants. They've lost touch with what really drives business. And it happens. Don't worry about it. It happens after 8 years. It happened to the Clark government. It happened to the Bolger government. And it's happening to the Key government. After 8 years, you forget to go to business, you forget to go to your key stakeholders and actually ask them what they would like to see, and you believe you've got all the answers. You believe as a government you know the answers, and you can go to business and say, see, this is what you want. Well, I can tell you, government, you've actually got it wrong. All you have done is created compliance for businesses when you had the opportunity to reduce compliance. And when I look at the risk profile in the regulatory impact statement, the RIS, thank you, Mr. Farfoy, it talks about reducing compliance costs. That is the aim. Reduces costs to business government by enabling fewer, more accurate business-to-business and business-to-government transactions. I don't think there would be anyone in this House who would disagree with the aim of that. It is fabulous and it needs to happen, and it's what 21st century information technology should be able to deliver. What it does say, which is quite surprising, however, these benefits are not quantifiable, as a New Zealand business number is an enabler of opportunities. It does not deliver these opportunities. So what this basically says is before any business is going to take this up, they've got to see value. They've got to be able to see value and say, okay, I am going to go through this process proactively, because it will take a bit of time. They're going to need to access websites and put in information, because I see a significant amount of value. But Mr. Speaker, what I can say and what I'd like to reiterate, if the government departments that a business liaises with are not part of this, then a business will not see value. If a business has to have duplicate communications with different government agencies, then this is defeating the point of what this bill is trying to achieve. I guarantee that within the first 12 months of a Labor-led government, we will be going out to business and saying, hey, you know what, the intent of this bill was right, let's put it right in legislation. Mr. Speaker, this bill came to the House with good intentions. It came to select committee with good intentions. New Zealand First and Labor were trying to work with the government in good intentions to get this right. But because the government knows best, because they have become arrogant and they've lost touch with what the market actually wants, we are now delivering a product that I very much doubt will get much uptake from business at all. Mr. Speaker, this is another missed opportunity by a government that is now out of touch and has forgot how to ask the question, how can we help you? Instead, what they're doing now is saying, we know best, this is what you'll want, this is what you want. Mr. Speaker, that is the wrong approach to legislation. I think this is a missed opportunity, and that is a real shame. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker.